shopping. We just took the gift card. We're out there tapping for DEI program. Boycott. Buying Costco for keeping their DEI program that doesn't benefit African Americans at all, man. DEI don't benefit us.
All right, so let me tell you what he was doing. So he went to Costco, Al Sharpton, and he bought $125 gift cards. So about $2,500 that was spent. And he spent that in Costco. And so you're praising Costco, a business that's not in our community. And I have nothing against Costco. I mean, I even got a membership there. But you're praising Costco for a DEI program. Did you ever see Al Sharpton do a buy-in at any black-owned business in New York? Why didn't he lead all those people to shop with a bunch of black people that day? Or do this constantly at black-owned businesses and say, hey, this is a buy-in. And we want to bring, money to the black community and circulate the black dollar. But no, Al Sharpton have no problem taking the black dollar and giving it to Costco in mass behind a DEI program that don't even benefit black folk. A lot of people don't even respect people like Al Sharpton because of things like this. This doesn't even make sense. I don't care what these corporations do with their programs. Once again, those programs benefit white women, don't even benefit black people like that. But the most of the DEI, but the most of the jobs go to white women, a white LGBT, a white LGBT, a white LGBT, a white LGBT. Because white LGBT can be put in a DEI program. White women can be put in a DEI program. It's finessing. They used George Floyd to create the remix of affirmative action. And once again, black Americans at that time was not asking for a DEI program. They were demanding, not asking. They were demanding justice for George Floyd, ladies and gentlemen. So with them getting rid of DEI, that doesn't bother me because prior to George Floyd, they didn't have no DEI. So what are you tripping about? And you got the Democrat shields say, oh, yeah, look, see, they taking away DEI and this and that and the third. And, okay, who cares? Who cares? Well, this is the same Al Sharpton that took $500,000 from Vice President Kamala Harris. Did he help her get elected? We clearly see he didn't. Al Sharpton is about lining up the pockets of Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton has always been hustling corporations, hustling with his nonprofit. Al Sharpton been at this for a very, very, very long time. And he's not stopping. Like, Al, don't you got enough money, brother? Like I said, you just got broke off $500,000. Like, what did you do? You ran through it? What you do with the money? A lot of black people, especially younger black people, don't respect that people like Al Sharpton and that group look at that mess like just being a clown. And a lot of black people are just being turned off by the Democrats because this is what the Democrats support. But I'm so glad that a lot of black Americans looked at that as just some clown show stuff. I'm so glad about that. So glad about that. So glad about that. So glad about that. Y'all doing so good. Y'all reading right between it. Y'all seeing it for what it is. Like, Al Sharpton does not have the influence he once had. He don't. Al Sharpton, the rest of the Democrat shields, nobody's listening to them. They have been delegitimized. 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 And they're very upset by that. See, at one point in time, Al Sharpton could pull a stunt like this, and it would really move the needle at one point in time. But now, people are like, Al Sharpton need to go sit down somewhere. He need to go do his show on MSNBC or whatever and just go home. If he still even have that show, because they trying to decouple the network anyway. from Comcast. Al Sharpton, if you're gonna do a buy-in, man, go do that to some great black businesses in New York. There's plenty of them that they need people to come spend money with them. But you're gonna transfer a bunch of money, to Costco.
Let's listen to this clown. This clown, Spike Lee. He's another clown. I think he a mook too, y'all. Did he ever come out the closet yet, y'all? Spike Lee. He another RuPaul ass nigga, right? Facts. Let's go.
Let me say that on Juneteenth day,
Juneteenth about to be this
a
mouse.
couple of days ago with Spike Lee, and he said, you know what, we should kick off Juneteenth day having breakfast together in Brooklyn.
Fuck Juneteenth. That's mixed in with a whole bunch of mooks. Juneteenth is mixed in with a whole bunch of mooks. Yeah, eliminate that too, King Trump. Juneteenth, that ain't no motherfucking holiday. That's a holiday. God damn it. Juneteenth off the goddamn map, y'all. They got it blended in with a whole bunch of mooks. Niggas blended in with mooks. These niggas is mooks, man.
Decals used to hang out. And I said, yeah, that's a good way to start the day. Let's remember that Juneteenth started because Texas had never informed those that were enslaved that they were free. Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation that went into effect January 1st, 1863. But it wasn't until the 13th Amendment that blacks in even the northern states were free. Texas still didn't know it until
still not free, nigga, you still not free, nigga. What you talking about? You still a slave, nigga.
General Granger came down and freed the slaves. So you can be free and not know it. And that's what Juneteenth means. You can walk off the plantation now and not know it. So that's why it is important that people register and vote in the mayor's election, whoever you vote for. Vote in every election, because they're trying to erase black history.
A lot of groups are panicking over the ending of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, better known as DEI. But the reality is that these programs were never really benefiting Black Americans in the first place. In fact, the biggest beneficiaries of DEI were Caucasian women and other groups. If we're being honest, Black Americans benefited last. So let's talk about why this is not the crisis that people are making it out to be. As stated before, DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. It was created as a corporate and institutional initiative to promote fairness in hiring, education, and leadership opportunities. While it sounded like something that would uplift Black Americans, the reality is that the execution did not match the marketing. And quite honestly, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Let's go a little bit deeper into who actually benefited from DEI. According from official reports from the U.S. Department of Labor, Caucasian women have been the biggest beneficiaries of diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Other racial and ethnic groups, including immigrants, also benefited from DEI before Black Americans. And companies have often used DEI as a legal shield to implement surface-level diversity while maintaining the same power structures. And some would argue that it all sounds like one big scam. And I have to address the misinformation about DEI and the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I've been seeing videos where people have been panicking, saying that they're going to lose their civil rights and all this. While we have some people who claim that DEI was an extension of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that is simply not true. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 is a law, while DEI is a set of corporate and institutional policies that were not legally required. Ending diversity, equity, and inclusion does not undo civil rights protections, nor does it erase equal opportunity laws that are still in place. The fact of the matter is that many people are confusing these two things, which is fueling unnecessary panic. You need to remember that DEI was more of a hiring practice, not a legal protection. DEI was mainly a hiring strategy, meaning that companies could voluntarily choose to implement it, and it never replaced actual workplace protections. In fact, if your protected class rights are violated, you can still file HR complaints or lawsuits. Equal opportunity employment laws still remain in effect. Groups still have legal recourse if they face discrimination in the workplace. And the very last thing that I want to talk about, which is probably one of the most important things, is that Black Americans have always moved forward with or without DEI. History shows that Black Americans have never relied on artificial inclusion efforts to survive and to thrive. From Black Wall Street to the Civil Rights Movement, resilience, number one, and self-sufficiency has always been key to these movements and to our ancestry. While opportunities should be fair for all, Black Americans have a long track record of pushing forward in the face of adversity, even in systems that weren't built in their favor. So instead of mourning the loss of DEI because of the misinformation that you've been fed, start asking yourself, did it ever really serve me? How do you feel about the cancellation of DEI? Do you feel better after knowing that DEI was more of a corporate policy or structure that was implemented within certain workplaces? DEI does not cancel out your civil rights. So give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and don't forget to share this video with anyone else who likes this type of commentary.
Like I said, when I get your content, I most definitely got to share your channel. It's only right. But here's her channel here, y'all. If y'all want to get over there and sub to her channel on YouTube. We got a little sneak preview of what she got going on over there. We got a little sneak preview. Y'all can get over there and sub to her channel. They blend in Juneteenth with Pride Month. Yeah. Ban Pride Month and Juneteenth. King Trump. Fuck that. This shit is a whole bunch of foolishness taking place when Juneteenth and Pride Month. And they mix niggas with LGBT mooks. Sad for Black people to support this foolishness going against the Most High word. God damn it. Yeah, Trump, ban these motherfucking programs here, King. Juneteenth, it's a motherfucking Pride Month. Fuck out of here. Bunch of mook shit activity. With these mooks. Mookville. Blending Juneteenth in with a whole bunch of mooks. Let's go.
It's Jazzy Black, and I'm kicking back at the Juneteenth Unity Fest. And y'all, I done ran to a former Miss Dallas Southern Pride. Look, Queen, please tell me your name.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Leah
Hi,
Ellis, and
my
I'm a
name is
former Miss
Leah.
Dallas Southern Pride. I won in 2017, and I reigned all the way to 2019.
Wow. Okay, so first of all, I want to ask you, what does Juneteenth mean to
They
you?
support this
and
shit.
being a part of Dallas Southern Pride community.
Juneteenth is freedom, and it's when we were freed and we were able to do what we
Mooch,
wanted
y'all.
to do and needed to do. And the pride part of the festival
shit,
means
y'all.
that we are
A
able to live in our
freakazoid
truth and show who we are every day.
gathering.
First of all, I'm having a bum-ass time out here.
I know.
You looking
That's
cute as
what y'all
hell.
love to
Okay?
do,
Look, I
party
ain't got in
and
the pool yet. I wore my
bullshit.
swimsuit. I thought I was going to get in, but I didn't. You going to get in the pool?
Girl.
Look.
No.
Who ain't getting their lashes lit? He's one of us. Now tell me, Miss Dallas Southern Pride, what is your favorite thing about coming out to the pool party and just being a part of the festivities every year?
One of my favorite things to do is to see old friends and meet new friends. 97.9 The Beat.
Longer than they were supposed to be. Next thing, it dawned on me, I said, oh, this is one of those gay pride months, June, where they have all of these rainbow celebrations. And if you see the Juneteenth emblem, it's a fist. But guess what it is now? It's a rainbow fist. See the Juneteenth emblem, it's a fist. But guess what it is now? It's a rainbow fist. It's an excellent opportunity for there to be a black holiday that is co-opted and taken into the theology of this rainbow cult. So another connection between black folk and this cult can be established and claimed. You go into Black History Month in February. In February, that's where they have gay pride celebrated all over the country. You go to Aspen and they have gay pride ski races. They have gay pride events in Denver. And that's in February, and that's supposed to be Black History Month. So what time is this where you get this association between a century and a half of people saying it's wrong to treat black folk in this particular kind of way? We have to do better. So you get that goodwill and you associate it with something else. It's like Christmas. The early Christian church did not celebrate December 25th as Christ's birthday. It was celebrated at the end of February or early March. It's still celebrated in the Middle East with certain Christian denominations. But also to be celebrated on December 25th was Al Samain, which was a pagan holiday that the Druids used to celebrate. Odin was born on December 25th. Osiris, the Egyptian god, was born on the 25th. You have a situation where Mithras, the god of the Roman legions, was born on the 25th, and the pagans would not stop celebrating on the 25th. So what the Catholic Church did is it just summarily moved Christ's birthday from February, March to be celebrated on the same day that this pagan holiday was celebrated. So that pagan holiday is now looked at as a very sacred Christian holiday 1,000 years after the fact. So what happens is if you set a black holiday and make it a black national holiday to be celebrated the same time as this rainbow cult series of holidays, then people get to associating the two. And if you see the fist for Juneteenth and the fact that it is now decorated in a rainbow color scheme, you get the point. It was an opportunity to do an end run and further sink this cult into the fabric of American society. Take another thing, the Emmett Till anti-lynch bill. It doesn't do anything for black or colored America at all, and it doesn't even require a killing. Typically, a mob does a lynching. We think of it as a anti-black event, but you have to remember the old-time Western movie. Boys, ain't nobody gonna hang nobody in my jail until we has a fair trial, then we'll hang him. So part of the lynching process was in the Wild Wild West and other places on the American frontier where white criminal elements were lynched by mobs who wanted a frontier justice situation. So in any event, what happens is lynching requires a mob. It requires a killing, right? Not under the Emmett Till anti-lynch bill. It doesn't require a mob. One person can be found guilty of lynching. You don't even need a death. If somebody is kidnapped or beat up, that can qualify as a lynching. So now what they did is they interjected sexual identity in this whole equation. So instead of you envisioning black people getting lynched and it's a horror that needs to be stopped, it's a hate crime, what winds up happening is, say, some black guy breaks up with his old lady and he's out at a club with some of his homies and he's over dancing with a PYT thing and a tight short dress with interesting boobs and hoop earrings and braids down to her butt, and he's dancing with her and they've been exchanging spit in the shadows and drinking wine, and then he notices that PYT has a hard on and he said, "Man, you a dude." And he busts pretty young thing in the mouth. That now is a federal lynching that brings in the FBI. See how they co-opted something and they turned it into something different. And that's what I think they set up this whole Juneteenth thing for. And if they want to celebrate something, why don't you celebrate the black troops that behave with outstanding heroism at Milliken's Bend? Why don't you celebrate the 54th Massachusetts volunteers for what they did down there in the Carolinas trying to take that fort? I mean, there are a lot of things that you want to celebrate. So, I mean, it wasn't the end of slavery. They had to negotiate some treaties with the American Indian tribes to end that. And the 13th Amendment was ratified by Tennessee in July, which made the 13th Amendment in effect. If you took the members of the Union, but you didn't have enough states to ratify that until the following year, if it came around to the old Union, rather than just those that were still part of the Union after the Civil War, before there was the reconciliation. So, I mean, there are all kinds of things you could celebrate besides being a whole long period of time after the fact finding out that they weren't slaves. So, I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, it's crazy. What is there to celebrate?
Close them programs down, King. That mook shit, involving niggas in the mook shit. Close that shit down. End that shit. DEI, Juneteenth, LGBT Pride Month, end all that shit, King. That's mookism.
Honestly, can I put it in plain words for you? And you're a smart guy, so you all understand, but a lot of people don't. The Democrats are getting killed on the shutdown because we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to. So we're being able, and they're never going to come back in many cases. So we're being able to do things that we were unable to do before. So we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we wanted to close up or that we never wanted to happen, and now we're closing them up. And we're not going to let them come back. The Democrats are getting killed. And we're going to have a list of them on Friday, closing up some of the most egregious, socialist, semi-communist, probably not full communist, we're saving that for New York, but semi-communist programs. And we're closing them up. We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So the Democrats are getting killed, but they're not telling the people about that. I say it, I haven't said it probably as bluntly as I just said it, but so we are closing up Democrat programs that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.
Wow. It happened, guys. This shutdown literally proved nothing.
The shutdown was so pointless.
Like, this was crazy, and they were blaming Donald Trump for it all to point back to the Democrats. Like I've been saying since the election, this is a humiliation ritual for the Democrats.
It's interesting though, because they won a lot of elections on November 5th in their favor.
But in them places, like New York was already...
Yeah, a lot of them states were already blue.
Right.
That's true.
Still, they don't have a presidential candidate for the next one. If they really think that Gavin Newsom will win, let's go ahead and elect JD now.
I wouldn't count him out.
I would count him out.
I wouldn't count him out. I think that liberals, the thing about Democrats is they will vote for whoever's on the ticket that is a Democrat. Republicans, it's harder to earn their vote because they have to like you. Like, for someone like Trump, they turn out in droves. They're gonna show up and show out. But I think Democrats will show up and show out for literally anybody that's a Democrat on a ticket.
But I don't think no Republicans will vote for Gavin Newsom at all.
But Democrat programs that we were opposed to. So we're being able, and they're never going to come back in many cases. So we're being able to do things that we were unable to do before. So we're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we wanted to close up or that we never wanted to happen, and now we're closing them up. And we're not going to let them come back. The Democrats are getting killed. And we're going to have a list of them on Friday, closing up some of the most egregious, socialist, semi-communist, probably not full communist, we're saving that for New York, but semi-communist programs. And we're closing them up. We're not closing up Republican programs because we think they work. So the Democrats are getting killed, but they're not telling the people about that. I say it, I haven't said it probably as bluntly as I just said it, but so we are closing up Democrat programs that we disagree with, and they're never going to open again.